Oh, and I see one very awesome participant join here. Amazing. You are the first, Yekaterina, as far as I can see. By the way, can you tell me, do you hear me well? Is it the microphone working well? Hey, hey. Everybody, okay, awesome. I'm just waiting when everybody will join. It's 11:59 American US Central Time. I just wanted to start this thing a little earlier to see if anybody else joins. Somebody will be late. I see Misha joined as well. Hello, my man. How are you? Awesome. But you know what? Give us 5 more minutes. We'll see who else joins, and then just go ahead and post your questions, and I will just start delivering your information. Just thinking some people will be late. I'm trying to go to Facebook page from my phone and repost the live broadcasting to my personal page to see if that will boost the amount of people who join. How are you all doing, by the way? At least tell me that. Hey, Gabriel. Nice to meet you here. Thanks for joining. See, I'm giving a little more minutes, like 3 more minutes, and you can guys start just writing your questions. So basically, if you're not familiar, you can't, apparently this is like a one-way connection. I'm the one who talking, but you just post any of your questions in chat and I will reply to them. Because ultimately, like, I wanted to make a live video Q&A. I didn't really have certain information in place that I personally wanted to talk about. Just because there is so much, I decided I would rather focus on what students have in mind, what they're curious about, what they want to know, education, USA, career opportunities, how to negotiate scholarships, what are trends with resume, million questions. So basically give it 3 more minutes and go ahead and start writing your questions. Okay, I made a repost as well. We'll see, hopefully that will help for more people to join. It seems like I tried to tell everybody, hey, this is 12 p.m. US Central Time, which is 7 p.m. most European countries on the west, and then 8 p.m. in Kiev and 9 p.m. in Moscow. So okay, you know what? Don't want to really make you wait for a long time. Let's just go ahead. Whoever wants, just post your question, anything you want me to talk about specifically, and let's go and discuss. Oh, okay. What is it that? Oh, I see we have two more people who joined. Amazing, guys! Thank you so much for joining. Really glad you're here. Um, so for those who are from Ukraine or Russia, don't worry if you feel like you want to post a question in Russian or Ukrainian language. Go ahead and do that. Можете задати питання на українському чаті. And I will just translate it accordingly so that all other participants who are from other countries might understand in English. So don't worry about that, just post questions. As for the essay, I see the first questions from Ekaterina. All right, so what exactly do you feel like you want me to clarify? What is the special, sauce that is like, what is that you feel like you want to know more in more depth? So just let me know. Hello, Italina. Nice to meet you here. I'm about to tell some interesting information about essays and how to write them, but just want to make sure, asking Ekaterina about her question, what exactly she is looking for. Because there are many aspects about essay that might be useful. I think maybe she left or something. Okay, let me just tell then holistically about the essay. So first of all, we have, when you apply to colleges in the United States, the so-called admission essay is actually the one that is relevant to the application process, and it also called personal statement. So personal statement is something that you have to prepare for quite a while, to make many drafts. You have to write about your personal background in such a way that presents yourself as a great candidate to admission office, and you have to put all the paragraphs necessary to answer certain questions if they have special questions for you. Normally, it starts from, just as any essay, it starts from introduction. It has the main part with certain paragraphs, but besides structure, more important is the content itself. What exactly you are writing about, how you're presenting yourself, what is it that that it's actually, yeah, I see now Katrina clarified what should be in the essay to make it all list good. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm about to say. So your essay have to have certain questions answered, but in more like storytelling way. It's not supposed to be just the list like a resume with any of your skill set or background. It's supposed to be your story, and you're supposed to present it trying to answer, why do you want to study in the United States in the first place? Why do you want to study in the school that you're applying to, right? So you want to specifically point out, hey, I want to study, for instance, in I don't know, University of Urbana-Champaign in state of Illinois. I want to study there in law school because that university provides me with resources in criminal law and justice. I'm able to participate in multiple moot courts, or this university is known for that and that and that. Like, you have to just describe why you choose that university. So then you also have to describe why you. Literally, you have to tell what makes you a great candidate, what you can bring to the table. So is it that if you're an international student, right? Is it a diversity that you can bring to faculty and students? Is it certain skill set that nobody else might have? Is it something interesting in your background and your extracurricular activities? Like maybe you have been doing sports or you're involved in music or anything else that is going beyond, or community service, this one is really strong, or anything that goes beyond your studies specifically, right? Beyond your major. So you have to, again, you have to put on your essay, besides introduction and all the, usual structure, you have to put why do you want to study in the US? What makes United States so good for you to choose as a country of choice to study and to obtain education abroad? Otherwise, if you're an American student joining here, you don't need to point out why US, but you have to go down and say why this specific school, why this university, why this program. And then you have to finalize it by saying what you can bring to the table, what makes you so different, what makes you unique, what makes you interesting and strong candidate. In between all those three big questions, you have to just keep going and saying what you also want to learn. So it's about ultimately presenting yourself, presenting your background, at the same time saying why you choose this, why you choose this university and program, what you can bring to the table, and also what you want to gain from it yourself. Meaning, do you want to know more about this topic that you want to study? Do you want this degree because this is an Ivy League, this is top 15 universities, and you think that branded, that high level education may be a great opportunity for you to then find a job, right, or internship. So you present yourself, you tell your background, you say why this school and university, you say why you a great candidate and what can you bring to the table, how can you be valuable, and ultimately you sum this whole thing up and saying what it gives you, So that's in very short description of what you need to put in your personal statement / admission essay to make sure your essay actually is winning one. Of course, you have to have grammar and spelling, all that stuff. This is obvious. You have to make sure that your drafts are perfectly and well written. So yeah, this is some kind of holistic overview of an essay. So Ekaterina, if you have like one more specific question about essay, just go ahead, type it in, and I'm glad to clarify. Otherwise, oh, okay, I see. I don't know why. It's funny. My scrolling mouse doesn't go automatically. I have to scroll it myself to see your questions. I don't know why. It's just weird. But great. It's good that you keep following me. How long it can be. So I suggest for admission essay, personal statement being 1 page. But it's not necessarily what I suggest is important, but what important is what your university tells you. In 90% of situations, they actually tell you how many words or characters can you use in your admission essay. Moreover, they might tell you that you have to use, for instance, double-spaced intervals, right? Versus using single-spaced. Otherwise, let's say you have an essay for about 700 words, right? It's pretty much 1 page, single-spaced, but it's 2 or 1.5 pages double-spaced. So you have to play with it, but also make sure you follow the requirements of your college. In the situations where there are no requirements provided by college at all about they just say, hey, write us personal statement, and you wonder what you should do, how it should look like, how many pages. My suggestions, it's the same. So if you want to make it double-spaced, you can make it 2 pages. If you want to make it single-spaced, I suggest to make it 1 page. Don't go beyond 1,000 words. I think 1,000, it's quite enough. It's quite long one. But again, I suggest you, even if they don't have any requirements posted on the website, it's nothing wrong with just sending them email to admission office and say, hey, I want to make sure my essay is great. I'm fascinated by your school and program. I'm drafting my essay right now. How many words do you expect? How many, can I go beyond this? Can I do this? So you just ask, you clarify, you negotiate, and that's fine. I was in situations where it was really difficult. The university was asking me to write an essay for 500 words only. But it's not really enough when you want to put all the thoughts and your background. It's really hard. You know, it's very more difficult to write an essay for 500 words versus 1,000. So, but I asked them, hey, I'm going just a little bit beyond that. Can I write with 600 words? And they tell yes, even though the website says 500. So that's just a good reminder for you. Regardless of what they say, you can just ask them to customize a little bit for you, and that's nothing wrong with that. Okay, I see we have a few more participants here. I see people just going here and there all the time, joining and then leaving, but you know, hopefully somebody will have more questions. So Ekaterina, go ahead, more questions. You are the most active here. Rosa, I see here, Serhi, anybody who wants, please just go ahead, ask questions about education in the essay, applications, internships, resume, anything that is in your mind. Don't be shy. I have too many topics to choose to talk about. Okay, see we have 2 people now. It's kind of weird. Hmm. Oh, almost ended live video. All right, guys, come on. Who wants to ask questions? Go ahead. I'm here for you for at least next 1 or 2 hours. Whoever is watching, just ask questions about education. You can ask in Russian, Ukrainian, English language. I mean, I don't know many others, but so go ahead. Just ask your questions in chat. Type your question. If you're not familiar how live video works, you cannot talk to me, right? So you just type the question and I will answer it. Lena, hello. Thanks for joining. Okay. See, everybody, take a look. Ekaterina is the best. She's asking already 3 questions, the most active here. Algorithm for search universities. Okay, that's a very good question. So ultimately, you have to start from analyzing the criteria you want to put between yourself when you choose your university, right? So there are many criteria, and I will touch on a few of those right now. I will tell you which criteria are the most important, or at least in my experience, they definitely were, crucial. So they determine not only the financial part and how you will depart to the US, but your whole life here. So first of all, of course, you have to figure out your pain points. Some students have pain point in English, right? They are afraid that they will not pass good TOEFL test. Other students, they're afraid that university they want to go to is super expensive. Like it's very expensive. Like it's like $100,000 per year, right? Everybody has pain points. Identify your pain point, either the financial part, either the English practice, either the essay that you worry about. What is it that you worry about? It's not that the only one determination for you to choose university based on this criteria, but this is something important to think about. So based on your pain points, start from the basic. So you want to study in a huge university or small university. And also make sure to differentiate. University can be really big, but then the school that you're studying, the college, right? The law school, the engineering school, the music school, the architecture school, the business school, all those might be small. Maybe it's a new school, maybe it has less resources. They all have different funding and budgets. So almost like we have in Ukraine. So the point being, you have to choose culturally, right? What do you want? Do you like big university with many students in your class? You want to study like with 100 students in your class and you feel excited about it? You feel that it's something amazing, the type of learning experience? Or you want to study in very small class where it's like 15 people at most, and it's more individual approach where you very often can talk to a professor, you can speak with multiple people in your program, you can get more individual approach to your studies. So that's one thing. So what is the size of the class and the size of university? Then you want to also ask yourself how many years apparently do you want to study, what is your timeline in terms of your goals and aspirations, personal ones, because there are multiple schools that provide you different, if you speak about masters, right, for graduate level or even PhD, right, those who want to study philosophy doctor in multiple majors, or undergraduate, even that. So you have to just think that, universities in the United States differ from most in Europe or other countries by virtue of having tremendous flexibility. You may be studying for 3 years in bachelor's, whereas in many other countries, it's 4 years always required. You may study 2 years in master's, but somebody else can study 3. So it's so flexible and you can adjust however you want, literally. So that's something to think about as well when you choose university. Now, geographical location is extremely important. United States is a very big country, and you might remember that it's a federation. So it's very differs both culturally and infrastructure-wise from the state to state and from the city to city. So I was studying in a very small city, considerably small in terms of population, but quite widespread and big in terms of square miles, Little Rock, Arkansas, versus also I have visited New York, and that's like whole another level. Like it's a whole different, it's just huge city. It's just huge city with 10 million people in the city, and the same, your life and your studying, it will all influence it. So do you want to study in a huge city with a lot of opportunities, but also with a lot of hustle, bustle, and noise? Or do you want to study in a very small city where you can adjust and adapt easily, but at the same time, you will have less things to do? It depends on the type of your character and personality, and also your aspirations. Some people just emotionally attached to big cities. They watch the movies in the United States, and I get it. I want to go to big city eventually myself. So location, the size of university, size of program, the approach, the learning experience. And also now we are getting to financial part. So what is your budget? Do you have personal funds or you don't? Do you want to apply for scholarships that are funded by school? Are you ready to allocate your time to apply for multiple scholarships and funding from your government, from commercial organizations, from charitable organizations, from educational organizations that have affiliates in Ukraine, Russia, or any other country? So you have to think what is your budget and how you will cover your tuition expenses and living expenses. Because let me tell you the difference between American and international students. So for American student, apparently because he or she is American citizen, they need only to have tuition expense, and the living expense and insurance, it's not even a thing for them. Why? Because they already, before they go to college, they already have to live life and pay for the insurance and pay for the other things like car if they drive, or food and anything. But for us, for international students who come to the United States, it's a whole different conversation, because not only on your student visa you will have to show that not only your tuition, which may be like $14,000 per year or like $50,000 per year dollars, not only the tuition will be there indicated on your documents, but also the living expenses estimated by university. So you need to think that you cannot play with it. If you think that you will cover your tuition 100% by scholarship, that is awesome, and that can be done, and I did it myself. But you have to think, okay, this is university, for instance, I don't know, a big city. Let's say it's just Harvard. Cliche, but amazing university, of course. So it's like $80,000 per year for masters, just for 1 year. Let's say Harvard gave you 100% scholarship. But then what you will do with $20,000 you have to spend on your life for 1 year. It means rent of your apartment, food, transportation, all the basic stuff, which is now, skyrockets in comparison with the expenses you had in your home country. So you have to think about your financial budget, and also about financial tools, and that's how you choose university too. Because again, I always say, it's not only a matter of going to Ivy League, it's not only Stanford, Yale, or Harvard. There are 4,000 universities in the United States, and they pretty much are great. Some of them, of course, have less or more resources, but they all help you to improve, to get an amazing degree. And for international students, sometimes I think that almost every university in America is a great addition to education they had in home country. But again, sure, your aspirations matter. If you want to go to top 20, top 50, top 100 universities, you should do it. But you have to be aware that the education will be also more expensive, education itself. So practical, these are the most important. This is the algorithm of searching. Also, it's first, again, to analyze these criteria, as I just have said, and then to literally be just to play a little bit with your organization and planning skills, right? You have to you have to have either your notebook or your laptop. You have to type or write all the information you gain from the websites from schools you read, or from calls or emails with admission office. Otherwise, you will be just lost. There is so much information to comprehend by your mind that you have to all write it down. Otherwise, you will not understand what you're supposed to do next. So, and of course, if you wanted to help with algorithm in search, you can also ask Trapizonian Education to help you with that. Then now our website, who doesn't know, our website is already up and running, so you can go ahead and check the services and everything else. So these are the criteria and the aspects of how you can find university of your choice. And now, more questions, please. This is amazing question. Thank you, Katerina. I see a few people are still here, so go ahead, continue, ask more questions. So far, we discussed how to find university and what should be in your personal statement, aka admission essay, for you to win the admission. So let's continue. Let's keep it rolling. No breaks. I'm still here. At least I can be here for 1 hour. So use this opportunity, because, hey, I mean, you can ask me something that I experienced that no agency will ever tell you, and no university will ever tell you as well, because who wants to share this? So, but I want to help you, and you are welcome to use this content. And of course, I will follow up with all of you. Whoever wants to just message me on Facebook or anywhere else, or send me an email, that's no problem at all. I welcome that. But I also recommend you to answer your questions here. I see 5 people right now watching. Come on, guys, ask questions. Кто из Украины, из России? Задавайте вопросы, ребята. Здесь в чате пишите, задавайте вопросы. I don't know, I guess everybody is shy or something, or they have very specific questions. People don't want to ask questions, but they want to watch. Let me see. Maybe I will come up with some topic of interest for you. Otherwise, you're a little bit shy with asking questions. But I don't blame you guys. Just know that you are welcome to. Let me see what I can tell you. Something interesting. You know what I can tell you? Let's talk a little bit about trends. Because I think some students might be a little bit nervous, especially international students. So I refer to the visa and immigration aspects right now. What I mean is, many of you might think that politics and all other stuff is, is going to definitely stop you from getting to American college. I don't think that is true. The immigration to the United States is not necessarily directly connected with your studies in American university. Why? It's because you're not supposed to immigrate by going and study. This is a non-immigrant student visa, right? The visa gives you opportunity to study in university, and there is no limitation on that. So far, I'm following the USCIS. This is the official governmental authority of the United States of America, and I follow any news that can influence, whether positively or negatively, students come into the United States. Of course, there is certain scrutiny with the new administration. There is certain scrutiny in terms of checking twice all the candidates and anything else. But hey, who cares? You shouldn't care about this. They check you once, they check you twice, they check you 10 times. As long as you're good, as long as you do everything right and you do all the paperwork and all the electronic application for your visa, all the communications and interviews and everything else, if you do it right, then you will most likely obtain student visa with no problem at all. So please don't worry about the political trends that might impact in the enrollment of international students. As for the attitude of universities to international students, so far in my experience, most of the time, it's a great attitude and they welcome international students. It's still a big trend and still a big, it's not only opportunity for students, but it's also opportunity for United States universities, because they, as I always say, they have their own rankings. They want to have diversity. They want to bring new students with different skill set from all over the world. So please make sure you check everything you need to, but at the same time become about obtaining visa and coming to the United States. You pretty much can do it, no problem, when it's done right. And that's why Trapizonian Education is also here to help you with that, to ensure your, not guarantee, but ensure the effectiveness of your application and visa as well. So I want more questions. I see 2 people here. You know what? I'm gonna chill right now and just see if somebody asks me questions. I don't know. I hope everybody will be more active. I don't know, for like American students right now, it's 12:30 p.m. Maybe it's not the best time. Everybody is busy, but at the same time, today is the holiday of Martin Luther King, and pretty much nobody going to work. That's why I'm still confused why there are not many people, or they go up and down in terms of being tuned in. As for the Ukrainian students, I think 8 p.m. it was fine, as long as you didn't have any party plans. So let's see. Hopefully somebody will ask a question. I'm gonna post something right now to see if people figured out that I'm actually open. Yeah, I think people know. Yeah, 4 people. Hey, ask questions, please. Students from Ukraine and Russia, задавайте вопросы. В чате пишите ваши вопросы, ребята. Ask questions. Don't let me chill here. Let me work and sweat. I want more questions about education in the United States, career opportunities. Anybody interested in career? I can talk about career as well. I don't know why. Oh, okay. Ekaterina is crushing it. She's like the best in the world. Please take an example here. So let me see. By the way, if I get an education visa, would I lose my B2 visa? Yes, but it's an extremely good question. It's super great question. Yes, and that's exactly right. You are right. You will lose your visa. It's not like losing, but yeah, you cannot have B2 visa simultaneously with F1 student visa. You only can have one visa of such kind. It doesn't mean that when you finish university and graduate, and let's say your visa is over for studies, right? Student visa, you still can apply for B2 visa again. And then probably I'm not aware of 100% of the process, but there is some differences that you apply to visa, then you change it, then you apply back. That's something that I will be glad to research for you. But I can tell you 100% there will be no B2 visa. Because let me be clear, some of you might be a little bit concerned or confused. There are multiple visas that are applicable to study in the United States. But the one that I am talking about is mostly is F1 or M1, very rare J1, because those visas are specifically designed for you not to just come for like a summer school for 3 months or for 3 weeks and then go back. Is for you to come and at least legitimately obtain a degree, which is at least 9 months. I don't think there are any degrees you can obtain less than 9 months of academic period, which is master programs. And apparently then you have undergraduate bachelor's programs from 3 to 5 years. So for those, you have to have F1, M1 visas, versus like J1, J2 might be used for that, I think, in certain circumstances. But actually, of course, it might be used for that, but that is implying that you 100% immediately after your studies, you will go back to your home country. Versus when you have F1 and M1 visa, you actually can stay in the United States after your graduation for a certain limited period of time based on the so-called optional practical training. It's designed for students who just graduated from their universities and they want to enhance their skill set in a practical setting, meaning they can go and just find internship or work full-time in any state or city in the US accordingly to the major they have been studying and according to the degree they have obtained. So yeah, that's something to be aware of. That you cannot, in America, you cannot have 2 visas simultaneously. And it can be anything. If you have investor visa and you decided to be a student, you can have both. If you were a student and now you want to suddenly become, to have work visa, you only can obtain work visa when you finish your studies, right? You can't really, or you have to drop your school, disregard your student visa and then apply for work visa, which actually you cannot even apply yourself. The employer should it do for you. But my point being, that's a very good question. You cannot have 2 visas simultaneously. More questions, please. Who is here? Evan, my man, was joining here. I'm not sure if he's still here. My friend and colleague Hussein, awesome. A few people were joining, but then they are leaving. Why are you leaving, folks? If this is all for you, I have other things to do, so. Okay, let me see. Maybe I will find a new topic to talk about as well. Yeah, Ekaterina, I know. It's a little bit unpleasant that you cannot have 2 visas, I understand you kind of worked for that. I mean, you probably not like worked for a B2 visa, but you made sure you have it and then you have to give it up. It's kind of weird, I understand. But that's the difficulty. And that's pretty much in many other countries. You don't really, in most countries, you can't have 2, 3 visas simultaneously. Just some status that goes, either you upgrade it to a certain level or you go back and forth. Or you just have a freaking green card and you feel good. So that's one way to go about it. Okay, I see people not asking questions yet, so I'm gonna, oh, you are welcome. I'm gonna talk a little bit about the following, about the opportunities for internships and job in the US. So because many of you also want to come here to study, and this is actually relevant to American students as well, because I just want to tell a few tips on how to obtain great internship and just focus on the fact that your work ethic is always a key. Hard work pays off, a cliche, but this cliche is just always the truth. So in my experience, I probably applied to more than 100 internships in the course of 6 months. So I was studying my 3rd semester in Master of Business Administration, and I had this huge desire to obtain an internship in between semesters. Thanks God, I found an amazing company and I worked there. It was just such a blessing. I was really lucky to have an amazing team and I really liked my job. So, but before that, those 6 months were really difficult because besides studying and doing anything else, you have to apply every day. Every day, not only you have to upgrade your resume to write a specific customized cover letter to a potential employer, to go to the internship market, to go to the conference in different states, to call somebody, to ask somebody, to add somebody on LinkedIn. There are so many things you have to do, but to make them all structured right now and give you certain advice, let's just start from the basic. First of all, my suggestion is to really think where you want to have an internship, or where do you want to have a first entry level job, right? Whether you're American or international student, you have to think what you really want to do. It's nothing, no problem if you don't know, or if you want to try multiple things, go ahead and try them. That was my experience, and that was good. Even by applying to the job, to internships, I was able to learn more about the industries I'm applying to, about the companies, about the business function I was interested in, right? And about daily job responsibilities. So that helped me to clear out my vision, where I want to work, which company I want to work at. And I just disregarded like half of my applications eventually. It just happened to be the case. You have to do that. You have to go through this kind of experience in order to understand, if you don't know at this point, what job do you want to have, or what internship do you want to go through. So, but it will be helpful for you to just browse, search in the internet, companies, different job responsibilities, try to write down your goals and aspirations in that regard. But then when you are determined what is it that you want, where you want to work, let's start doing by this. First of all, please, I just beg all of you, regardless where do you live, in which country, go ahead and update your LinkedIn profile. If you don't have LinkedIn profile, that's bad. That's seriously, I'm so passionate about this platform, not because I like it or they pay me to promote them. It's just because it's a great platform. It's like you are using Facebook for your personal use or for your business, but then LinkedIn is amazing for both business and career opportunities. Not only this is a job-seeking website, it's a networking website where you can literally ask questions, human resources manager of big companies. You can communicate, you can post different things about yourself, you can engage in groups, you can learn about industry. There are multiple things you can do. So number one, you upgrading your LinkedIn page is crucial for you to find internship or job in America. That's crucial. And by saying upgrading profile, I mean you have to put all the background and skills that you have, interests, everything, but also not to just overwhelm people with information, to make it short, brief, and sweet, to make it relevant, to use certain keywords. And by the way, we provide service on optimizing LinkedIn and other social media profiles. So if everybody wants, I will be glad to provide you with a certain discount. You can just shoot me a text. But the point being that you have to upgrade your LinkedIn profile. If you want, you have to have it in multiple languages. You have to choose the language of your home country if you're an international student, and you definitely need to have it in English language, of course. It's just obvious. So LinkedIn, then you go to other platforms. You go to Weather. I will send all those websites to you in the post, but you have to go to the Weather, to the Way Up, to the Indeed, to the Handshake. Normally that one is connected with your university. To which one else? To the Glassdoor. There is like 6 or 7 the most popular job-seeking websites or job review websites that are very popular, and you can go and learn more about the opportunities, and you can ultimately obtain information, apply for the job, network with others. So that's something you should do. You should definitely upgrade all your profiles and create profiles if you don't have them yet. Now, as for the hello, Yana here. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you. That's amazing to see you here. So right now I'm talking about opportunities, career opportunities, and how to find internships and jobs in the United States, both applicable for American and international students. So I was just saying that you have to go upgrade your LinkedIn profile and other social media related to job-seeking websites profiles. So now the second thing you have to do, you actually start applying. But before applying, you have to really work hard on your resume, meaning you have to draft the best resume possible. It's supposed to be 1 or 2 pages, depends on the job application you will have, depends on type of job you are seeking. But you have to have summary, skill set, professional experience, extracurricular activities. If you're a student that's just about to graduate, or you're a student that seeks internship, You have to have an even design. Nothing like super special, nothing colorful, no pictures on your resume. It's supposed to be like very professional, with professional mindset, and it's supposed to be drafted well. But then you also have to use strategic action words. You have to use achievement-focused bullet points versus just making a list of your responsibilities, right? They want to see, employers want to see what you have achieved by doing and executing certain actions and responsibilities on your job. So if you didn't have any job before, no problem. You can point other experiences you had. You can put extracurricular activities and more information about your education. So that's not the problem if you are the starter. Sorry, something definitely with my contact lens here. So that's not problem at all. Now, second thing you have to do before applying, but that is not universal, it's like specific to every application, is a cover letter. Of course, you will have to have a cover letter. Most applications do require you to submit one. And even if they don't, my suggestion to be creative, to go find an email of an HR or a partner or the person, whoever is responsible for recruiting, to find that person and email that person or write that person a LinkedIn message and send that cover letter. If it's email, apparently you can just write an email, or you can attach a cover letter as a PDF document, or you can copy and paste your text and put it as a LinkedIn message. So, but ultimately you have to connect. You don't want to be a dry, piece of data, because they use human human services software, and you don't want to be just like anybody else. You want to make sure that there is some personalization about, there is something unique about. For that is cover letter. So cover letter is, it's like a small essay, right? In a way, when you apply for college, it's your opportunity to explain certain aspects, aspirations, goals, or skill set and background that you have listed and you have written in your resume. So cover letter is a very powerful tool. I really recommend it, as well as, of course, LinkedIn messages and emails. So, and then application. You have to be aware that application, if you apply through the company's website, most likely is going to be at least, from 15 to 45 minutes you will spend just on one application. I know it's hard, and I did like 140, I think, applications. So you can imagine, if you multiply at least 15 minutes per one application, and let me tell you this, on most of them I spend at least like 40 minutes, because they have very many questions. Every application system in the company's website has the same questions, and maybe it's getting annoying to you, but there is no other way. They all have different servers and different data, so you have to submit your information each time, the same information all over the place. There is no other way. So you have to be aware of that, and that's something to work with. And maybe to enhance efficiency, right? To be faster, you have to create universal cover letter, meaning the cover letter that is like core part, which will be customized by certain parts and sentences when you will apply. And you can save this document on your laptop and whatever and work with it. The same can apply for your information. You already have your resume, right? It's 1 or 2 page document. So when you apply for companies, for internships and jobs, in their application, you can just copy and paste job experience or different education that you had in the application. So you can have it pull up and ready to go to take all the information necessary. So that's how it works. This is the basic things you have to do. There are many other things you have to figure out. You have to prepare yourself for the interview as well, because the interview might be both by phone, it might be Skype or any type of electronic communication, or Facebook or whatever the company decides to do. And then, of course, there's supposed to be final personal interview in person. That's more difficult, because if you apply, you're already in the United States, and yes, you can travel, but still it's difficult. It's quite expensive. So don't be shy to ask a company, maybe disburse you travel expenses, reimburse you the travel expenses, and see if they can help you with that. Normally, unfortunately, they don't, unless you're a big manager type, applicant. They will not really care about your expenses, and they will think that you are a local representative, right? They really go, they want to, save costs, and they want to go with a local applicant. So if you want to have job in Chicago, right? But then you study in California, then you have to really make sure that you have a little bit in your pocket, because you will have to eventually fly or drive to Chicago and present yourself for some companies. Just be smart about it. If you have multiple interviews, try to stack them all together within 3-4 days limits, so that you don't waste your money on flying back and forth on each interview. Just make the whole interview week, for yourself. That's one way to do it. Otherwise, be shy and don't be shy, be polite, but be also determined and assertive in asking companies, hey, we live in digital world. I really cannot allocate money to travel right now for the interview, for the whole sake of interview, not having guarantee that I will work in your state or your city or your company. So please, let's just make a digital interview and see if you consider my candidacy. I will literally pack up and just commute to your location. Otherwise, you can always apply in the same location. There is no need to worry about logistics, transportation expenses, and everything else. So that's in short how you can apply for internships and job opportunities in United States when you just about to graduate or you have recently graduated from your college. That's applicable for both American, domestic, and international students. These are just a few tips you can think about. You can, write down, just execute on, and then there are many others, and you are welcome to shoot me a text or just order a full service consultation with me about that, and we will work together. So, all right, I need more questions. I see there are 3 people right now here, so please, whoever has any questions about education in the USA or career opportunities in the USA or immigrational questions, if you're an international student, just type your question in chat right now. People here and there joining. I'm really glad that you guys joined, but I wish you had more questions. Don't be shy, just ask questions. Any question you have about education in the USA, just go ahead. I will check. I had multiple messages. I think people, instead of writing me in this live video, maybe they are not familiar how live video works. They just type your messages instead. So let me just check and see if somebody sent me a message to ask a question, Don't want to miss on anybody. Want to help everybody who wants to ask a question. Maria, hello. Glad to see you here. Awesome. Konstantin, awesome to see you here, guys. Ask questions. Come on. I'm going to chill. Maybe I don't know even what, maybe I can tell you something funny, something interesting about life in the US, since you're not asking questions. But also, by the way, just in case, the website that we were working on for a long time, it's working, so you are welcome. Right now type it. You're also welcome to go to the website, which is trapizonianeducation.com. It has opportunity to order service, to learn about the services more. There are multiple videos where I explain certain nuances. I give you a few tips, but those are very generic. Believe me, on my YouTube channel, I will gradually submit way more useful content for you guys. It will be amazing. I'm pretty sure I will be able to help and provide you with very unique information that most agencies and universities will not talk about. So that's the case about the free content. But then if you want to actually have services, for me, my team helping you with admission services, college success, essays, resumes, anything that is on the website directly, just go ahead. You can click and order that service in 2 buttons. You can buy the service from any country of the world, from any part of the world, payments accepted by any bank or PayPal account, anything, debit card, credit card, anything. So you are welcome to go and order it right now. And if you want, by the way, those who join this, you are welcome to shoot me a text. I will give you a promo code for a discount. There are certain limitations, but you just shoot me a text and I will tell you exactly how it works. But then also you're welcome to ask any questions about the services you have if you don't know. I also have created a few products. It's document samples. Instead of, for instance, ordering a service where we can help you to write a resume or to edit it, you also can purchase and download the products that have application document samples. So far we have 4. It's a resume sample, then a resume sample with explanatory comments about how to actually write it yourself, and then also essay sample. It's ultimately you either buy just a sample where you can read it and see how it looks like and maybe apply the style of it on your own essay, or you can order the essay with explanatory comments as well and see how you actually can write it yourself too. So it's certain like tips and tricks and strategies might be helpful. Okay, let me see. Still have 3 people here. Wow, I didn't speak for a while in the like more than almost an hour right now. I really like want to hydrate here. Let me see. Let me check if somebody posted anything on Instagram from maybe people ask questions, but they were not able to connect with live. I don't know what's going on, guys, but it's supposed to be a good timing. Let me see. Somebody actually messaged me, but I'm not sure who is this. Okay. Anybody questions? Задавайте вопросы, ребята. Кто здесь, кто слышит, кто смотрит, задавайте вопросы. Давайте, я могу уйти через полчаса, поэтому используйте ваш шанс задать вопросы. Please use your opportunity to ask questions. Just type them. Напечатайте их в чате. Let me see. Okay. I don't see questions so far. I probably will just go and tell you something useful again on my own, using my own topic. Let me think, what is it that I will tell you very interesting. There are just so many topics. I will tell something interesting for maybe international students who are seeking education in the USA and they want to apply for colleges and they know that they have to pass a test. So most of the time, international students who apply into United States colleges, they have to pass the so-called TOEFL test. It's test of English language as a foreign, something like that. But ultimately, there is also IELTS, but IELTS is a little bit different test, and it's more focused on those who want to study or work in Great Britain, right, in United Kingdom, versus United States. It can be applicable in some universities. They are okay with you submitting IELTS results, but my, personal suggestion is to go with TOEFL. Why? Because if you really focus that you 100% want to study in the United States, and that's the only country you want to apply to for international studies, then the TOEFL test will give you more opportunities and more, universities you will be able to apply to, versus IELTS limited. Something happened with the connection. Give me 1 second, guys. Wow. I almost was thinking that I was out from. Yeah, I'm here. Okay, awesome. Sorry, guys. It was looking like I was about to be off. Yeah. So I was saying the TOEFL gives you opportunity to apply for more schools, where IELTS just for a few. That's one difference. Then there is also a difference in how those tests are handled, but I will not focus on this right now. I will just tell you this, that don't be worried that you maybe have low score on TOEFL and you have to retake it. It's all fine, it's all good. Depending on your major, every university has different requirements. Some require 80 points out of 120. Others require 90 plus. In law schools, normally they require 100 plus. In Ivy League top universities, regardless of major, whether it's business school, law school, or any other school, they also require 100 plus. But even if you have less, you still have an essay, a resume, an interview, and other parts of your application where you can win, where you can literally be the best. You can provide the best essay ever. You can just, kind of obtain more points on overall application, even though your TOEFL is low. So, because admission officers, they evaluate your application holistically, right? So you have to know that it's all, I mean, of course you have to work hard to make sure that your TOEFL is high also. You don't need to, if you have opportunity, you have time, just make it all good. Don't be, lazy on some part of your application. But at the same time, don't overwhelm yourself with unnecessary concern and worrying that you are not ready for the studies in the US because you have not enough English language level or TOEFL score. It's all good. It's all manageable. It all depends on schools. I have been through the same thing, so it's all possible. But then you also have to be aware of deadlines. And hey, Araik, glad you joined. So you have to be aware of different deadlines, right? When you apply, you have application period. And then in that period, you also have to think about when you will take the TOEFL test, when you will draft your resume and essay, when will you ask questions in the admission office. So you have to have certain period of time, a month at least, before the application period starts, or within that period, but not going too far, not missing the deadline for scholarships or for application itself. Because also be aware, there are certain things where you have to wait for other people. For instance, when you apply for TOEFL test, which I just talked about, you have to be aware that your results will only appear 10 days later. So 10 business days, not calendar days, I think. And then that means you already, if you just apply for TOEFL, you took a test, it's not like you will receive your results right away. You will receive them 10 days later. Officially, you will receive them in two ways. One, you will receive your own PDF electronic version in your TOEFL account. Actually, it's ets.com account. Another way, it's you might, this is an optional, possibility where you can ask that organization that takes TOEFL tests all over the world. They will send your results to 4 schools. 4 schools is free. If you want more schools to obtain paper version of your TOEFL result, which they eventually will ask you to do for admission and application purposes, then you can pay, I think it's $18 per one new school. So, and fees, by the way, yeah, TOEFL also costs some money. It costs about $220. Used to be, maybe a little more right now, but it's in that range, $200, $300. So also, again, be aware. Try to pass this TOEFL test really good from the first time if you feel like you have limited budget for application expenses. Again, we also provide TOEFL teaching. I have been through TOEFL 3 times, from like 84 to 109. And I mean, there are multiple results. I have multiple results, and now I just have been in the United States for almost 2.5 years. Apparently, TOEFL for me will be way easier than it used to be. And I'm glad to teach you certain strategies and techniques and tips and tricks that I have learned myself throughout the years of applying to American universities. We have TOEFL services, TOEFL prep services on our website, so you can go ahead and check them as well. Now, what else interesting I can tell you guys? I just feel like I really wanted this to make a Q&A. Maybe I was supposed to communicate better that it's a Q&A versus me just presenting you a presentation. So hopefully some people will join and ask more questions. I will give it a few more minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, to see if somebody asks a question. If not, maybe I will come up with one topic, some final topic of interest, and then I will just go further, do work, and we'll be glad to answer questions if you follow up with me, of course. Don't be shy, guys. Ask questions. Let me see here. Ребята, кто хочет задать вопрос, кто смотрит из Украины или России, пишите свои вопросы в чате. Прямо сейчас, не откладывая. Вопросы о поступлении в Америку. Everybody who wants to know more about education in the USA, just ask questions below, guys. In the chat. In the comments section, actually. So in the meantime, I will check whether somebody wrote me on Instagram. Okay, I think people just, I don't know, people are shy of asking questions. Hello, Yelena, glad you joined. If you have questions, please go ahead and ask questions about your say. Just type a comment. It will be great to answer your questions. In the meantime, I might think about a new topic here. School funding. I probably will just tell you something, just finalize with the life in the United States. I mean, of course, there are like hundreds of hours I can talk about life in the United States and how it's different and etc. etc. I know I will make more videos about it and post it in YouTube channel. But so far, I can just tell, my ultimate mindset is that you don't need to find paradise because there is no paradise on earth. There are many beautiful places and everybody has personal opinion of each of those places. Somebody likes to live in Maldives, others just like to have a resort type of vacation. Some people like to live in big city, others in diversity, others want to live in small city with less diversity and less things to do. So it's all up to you. But if you seek United States education as a matter of you eventually having a chance to immigrate, that's all fine. You have all your own goals and aspirations. This is amazing. But at the same time, you have to be aware that you don't need to, focus on rose clouds, like that everything will be perfect, that American dream is just like this and you will achieve it in 5 seconds and everything will be easy. No, everything will be quite difficult and hard at times. For some people easier, for some people because they're either more capable or they had more resources, financial and everything else. For others it's more difficult, but ultimately you have to be aware that it's definitely worth it to come to the United States to study. It upgrades your mindset tremendously. You meet new people, you speak different language every day, you're exposed to interesting things, new cuisines, new nationalities, new way of thinking, new approach, even to life, and just look at how life is different. There are so many funny things about differences in life that in the United States, even the things like they don't use kilograms, they use pounds, or they don't use kilometers, they use miles and things like that. Just small differences like how you buy gas on gas station is a liter in Ukraine, like in many other European countries, versus a gallon, in the United States of America. So it's kind of funny things that you at first might be even irritated about a little bit, but eventually you adjust and you don't care anymore, and that's fine. And it's even better because you just learn, oh, paradise inside. yeah, that's really good statements. Mindfulness and self-awareness, sure. So yeah, so you can be ultimately you can adjust and adapt to everything in length of time. And then but at the same time, just try to be more aware of yourself. Do you want to study in big city? Do you want to study in small city? Do you want to visit? What is your budget? Do you think that when you arrive to US you will be able to travel? You will have time, not very much. When you study first months, it's all about adaptation, documents, application, it's very, very difficult. But everybody adjusted, so international students are still welcome in the US, and life is different for sure. There are way more, like, I like infrastructure. Infrastructure is better roads, better, buildings, everything is cleaner. It's nice, and there are many places where people are greeting you, they don't know you. There's certain strangers, they say hi and how are you, and something that some of them, of course, just doing it for like check mark, not necessarily genuinely, but others do it genuinely, and that's fine. In either case, that's good, that's awesome. In big cities, you don't see that because everybody is busy, which is also okay. I mean, you cannot request or judge or ask people to greet you every time or to be super nice to you. Being polite enough and follow some ethics, that's already fine. But you always can meet people that you don't like or that they behave themselves weirdly or aggressively in any country, any nationality. So I just want to try to I'm giving you this information to put your mindset in such a way that you don't need to think that you will go to the place with no negativity or no any problems around you, any difficulties. At the same time, I agree with the comment Yana just made, that paradise is inside us. At the same time, negativity might come from inside us. So if you have something in your life that makes you feel uncomfortable, or you have some life problems, you cannot blame necessarily surroundings, right? Or, oh, this is America, this education is bad, everything is bad. No, it's just something happens in your life and you go along and you play along with it. So this is like something you have to be aware of, because we all choose and speak how to apply and study in the US, but then we forget. We don't go there for just fun. We don't go there for a trip for 2 weeks. We don't go there for a resort in ocean in California. We go there to study, and it means we go there to be focused, ready to go, find opportunities for career, at the same time live some life, live life, meet new people, figure out how you will rent apartment, your credit score, your finances, your roommates, everything. There are so many questions. So life is different in many cases. You have to be, I will teach you that as well, how to go through post-enrollment. So post-enrollment process, and ultimately to learn things like basic things like the fact that in America, in 90% of the cities and states, there are no good public transportation. It's not because they are not developed or they don't have budget for that. It's because it's just culturally happened to be that everybody has a car. That's why only big cities have subway or buses or anything else. So there are many things you can be aware of, and I'm glad to help you with that. I will probably just stick for like a few more minutes here and see if somebody has questions. We'll be glad to answer. Otherwise, I'm about to be offline. Thank you, everybody. We'll stick just for a few minutes here. Hello, Irina. You just joined in a second when I'm about to turn this whole thing off. But it's fine. I'm glad you joined. If you have any questions about education USA, go ahead and type them in the comment section. Otherwise, next 2-3 minutes, I will be off. Okay, guys, probably will be going off. I don't see questions anymore in the comment section. Thank you all so much. I am really glad that you joined. I really appreciate your time. I know that I didn't have maybe enough. I didn't give you enough time for being aware that today is the live video that I made. I only made a press release on Saturday, so I understand it's like have been 2 days, even less. Probably you had your plans, whether you were in Ukraine, Russia, or United States, or any other country. So, but that's fine. It's good. I think that I provided you with some interesting information. whether it was a question, whether it was answer to the question or just my own desire to share with you something. So this video, of course, will be maintained, will be saved on the Trapizonian Education page, as well as I will download it and upload it to YouTube channel. You will be, if you like YouTube more, you can watch there. And again, you always know that you can text Trapizonian Education in the Facebook Messenger to ask questions, to customize the programs, products and services you want to order. The website is up and running. I'm glad to communicate with you guys and hope you will crush it in 2020. And you will crush it, of course, with your desire and aspirations to study and work in the United States. All right. Thank you all so much and see you soon.